Welcome, members. I think we are about to start and we are seeing numbers are increasing. So the expected number is around 600. And right now it is 215. So as numbers increase, we may possibly keep around 5 minutes, then we can be able to see. So can we ask members whom we know to join so that we can be able to start? So we shall start with 5 minutes. I believe it is going to be 5:15. That will be fair to everyone. And I'm encouraged the numbers are still increasing. So welcome our participants. So as we wait, I believe you have been taken through some of the units, and we are happy the way you are actively involved in this training. And we know you've taken through the orientation, and please feel free. As you enter also, kindly get to know the basics of online training, because you might be allowed to use to unmute yourself. Then you should be able to control, whereby you can mute, and the practice is possibly the facilitators can open the videos, but the rest of us, let's close the videos. We are having 4 minutes to go, and with the numbers, I think we are okay. Even if we start with 300, that will be a quorum. Thank you for joining. We are about to start. Thank you for joining. Today sessions, you will realize that most of the responses that we might call upon you is that you are going to utilize the chat. And then when you are using the chat, just become brief so that we can be able to get more. I realize some of you are already praising God, greeting us. Thank you so much. Now, 2 minutes to go, and the numbers is approaching 300, and I'm happy because my target is 300 and we are starting at 5:15. So thank you for choosing to train with Kemi, and we promise to give you the best quality training so that you can improve and be effective in your management. And feel free to console any other time in case you are faced with challenge, and utilize also community of practice where you should be able to identify yourself so that peer peer group work can bear you a lot of fruits, because sharing is empowering. It is about 1 minute to go. Therefore, possibly while we are waiting for that 1 minute to go, I'm requesting that we get a volunteer, somebody to volunteer for prayer to present us to God so that we can be able to. I'm seeing Agnes, you had already praised God. Would you be in a position to pray for us? Just you can utilize the reaction side there and then put your hand up. Agnes or any other person, may I see the hands up? I've not seen the reactions. Oh, there are quite a number. You will assist me, maybe colleagues who are with us, assist us. They said Abtuva. Okay, thank you. Said Abtuva, you can make the prayer.
Okay, let us pray. Hello, am I clear?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let me pray. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Okay,
Amen. Amen.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Said Abtuva. Thank you for that prayer and presenting us to Hala. Welcome. I want to begin by introducing myself. I'm Dr. Stephen Ngetich, trainer at Kemi, and I'm pleased to be with you. I'm also going to take you through this session and possibly moderate the session. I want to invite my sister, who is Eunice Mukambi, to greet you and introduce herself.
Thank you, Dr. Ngetich. Our dear participants, my name is Eunice Mugambi. I'm a trainer at Kemi, and humbled to be with you this evening. And I just want to extend our appreciation as an institute for choosing to learn with us. Thank you very much, and you are most welcome.
Welcome, welcome, my sister, Eunice. She is the one who is going to start us with the part of the presentation, and then I will make a conclusion. Two, I want to welcome also one of our key staff who is also a system admin, Mr. Elvis. Kindly greet our members.
Good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Elvis. I'm the system administrator at Kemi. I'm happy to be with you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Right now, I think you are now familiar with the people that we are going to work with. And I want you to possibly prepare yourself so that we start rightly. But I want to make some announcements. which is coming from the management in relation to payment of fees. It is reported that most of us have not met our payment, and as time goes, steps are going to be put in place so that by the end of the course, you will not have any problem because we shall be able to introduce examination card. So no one will sit for exams before before clearing fees. So a proposal has been made so that for you to be at ease in terms of meeting your obligation, financial obligation, possibly you can target or purpose to pay 3,000 per month for the period, because you are lucky because we are likely to conclude your training early, mid next year, so that next year you are graduating. So I think we are happy to be with you, and we shall take you through until the success. I think that is an important announcement from management, and I hope you have already taken that. So it is my humble privilege to introduce now the first presenter, Madam Eunice, to make an introduction of our unit, which is transforming education leadership and management. And for sure, all of you are in management, and others are also aspiring to be management. Welcome, Madam Eunice.
Thank you, Dr. Ngetich. Once again, participants, good evening. We are in our day 3, and I'm sure we have some of you who never made it to our day 1. And I just want to do a quick review that in our day 1, we were able to introduce you to our learning management system, and I'm sure you are shown how to navigate through to our LMS. Yesterday again, my colleagues were able to cover our module 1. I'm sure you're enlightened that you will be expected to go through 9 modules, and 8 of them are examinable, and 1 module, it's an exam by itself where we will be expecting you to do a research paper. As you are being taken yesterday through our first module on law, policy, and reforms, I'm sure you are able now to understand why we are seeking for uniformity in managing all our schools in our country. And remember again, even as we adhere to the law, the policies, and even the education reforms, again, we keep on insisting that schools do not operate in isolation. And that's why you need to encourage our school leaders, our chief principals, that forever it is good to enhance the community leadership. And I also want to believe, and you are aware of this, that teachers are highly respected personnel in our community. And that's why even I'm sure some of you, anytime there are functions within your community, either you are called upon to guide in leadership or even to become a treasurer, other times even to become the secretary of any gathering within your community. And therefore, this evening, we will be taking us through our module 2, that is transforming education, leadership, and management. Why? Because again, we want to empower all of us with skills and strategies for effective leadership, fostering innovation strategies, planning, and also sustainable improvement in not only teaching and learning, but also in our school management. Remember again, we are within the 21st century skills, meaning then therefore, the way most of us were guided and even were taken through some of the school issues, we might today say that we are outdated people in the society. You remember, I'm not sure about your age group, but I am sure that most of you here, you are very young teachers in the field. And some of us who maybe taught for so many years, before even a few of you remember those were the days even a principal would look at you, maybe as you meet in the corridor, and then you'll just run away. Likewise, even in our homes, our parents maybe, and more so our mothers, they would just look at you with their eyes and you'd know that maybe whatever you are doing was uncalled for. And therefore, we are saying that because we are teaching young generation, students who are enlightened, students who knows their rights, we must transform the way we lead, the way we teach, and also the way we guide them. We are therefore saying that at the end of this, I am imagining that we will come out strongly to be able to say that indeed we are transformative leaders. Allow me to share my screen so that we can go straight to our business of this evening. My brother Elvis, I want to believe that whatever I'm sharing, you are able to view. Many at the time, sometimes you imagine you are sharing a presentation and you end up sharing to yourself. I hope all of us are able to see what I'm sharing. And just like we were informed by Dr. Ngetich, for purposes which we have, we may not be able to send you to groups because again, they might consume a lot of time. I will therefore request maybe if you feel that you have a communication which you want to bring forward, you will be able to communicate via the chat box. And our module 2, it's transforming education, leadership, and management, which is our module 2. And as I said earlier, this is a module which now will make some of us to transform to the new ways of leading, the new ways of managing, so that at the end of it all, we will be able now to conform to the generation which is in our schools today. By the end of this session, by the end of reading module 2, all of us will be able now to understand and appreciate how to lead and manage education institutions for results. And that is very key because again, even as we keep on teaching each and every day, of course, we'd want our learners to succeed in life, but we are saying that kindly, when our learners are coming to schools, they do not come empty-handed. And that's why you are supposed to cater even for our time takers so that even if they will not excel as per the expectation of the schools, they will be able to develop as mature citizens. And therefore, this module will make us develop an understanding and also make us apply relationship management in skills. Likewise, development of understanding and acquisition of skills for preparing a strategic plan are very key. 3, this module will guide us in cultivating the skills required to develop top performing teams in our schools. The module will also make us use performance management tools. You are aware these are the days when in our organization, not only in schools, even in companies, we have now the issues of performance management, and we'll be reminding ourselves of those tools that we employ in our learning institution so that at the end of the day, we will say that our employer actualizes what we call value for money. The module also will make us reconceptualize our responsibilities as change management agent. And finally, we'll be aware about quality management approaches, which we'll be utilizing in our schools and also in our community so that we will be able now to identify with transformed leaders in our society. Module 2 has 9 units. Unit 1, leading and managing to achieve results, relationship management, strategic planning, building and sustaining top performing teams, performance management, change management, and quality management. Remember, as I said earlier, the units are 7, sorry. And as I said earlier, this is an examinable module. But I want to say, even because it's my first time to meet you, that I prefer reminding our participants that our exams are not like the exams you give to your learners. Our exams are usually very friendly. You are adults. Our exams test on applicability of the skills which we acquire. And again, I keep on reminding us that gone are the days when we used to cram for exams. You only need to read for understanding. And remember, this module and even all the other modules will be uploaded in our learning management system. As we go through this module in our chapter 1, we may be asking ourselves, who is the leader? Kindly, let's get to our chat box and do a summarized write-up about your opinion about who is a leader or even leadership for that matter. Who is a leader? How can you define a leader? Dr. Ngetich?
Yeah,
I'm not sure how much time have you given me. You know, I may take 2 hours without my knowledge.
yeah. Basically, you are to take 1 hour. So
Okay, thank you.
you have already taken around 15 minutes, so you'll stop at.
That's okay.
Okay.
Someone says a leader is a person who leads or commands a group. Any person who has, responses are very many. A person who commands. Collins, a person who commands. Samuel, someone who, Oh, the responses are very many. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I started with, I wanted to see how many of you are with me in this presentation. And it is true, I have read from a number of you that we are confirming that a leader is someone who guides, influences, or even direct others towards achieving a common goal. And we can cite many examples here if we had time. We all know our political leaders, how they behave, the business people, the social leaders. When we come to our social media, we have some personalities who have so many followers. And then also within our community environment, we can identify with a number of our neighbors who now portrays the traits of being a leader. And we are therefore saying for us to be counted as leaders in our schools, we must be people with visions. We must be people who are able to influence others, people who are able to make decisions, people who can communicate effectively, people who can take up responsibilities without necessarily being followed by our leaders. And therefore, we are confirming here that even if we are classroom teachers, we are aiming at a given time that we will be able to lead, if not in our schools, in our families. And for us now to be able to be counted as good leaders, therefore, we are saying we must be able to counter the many challenges aiming at achieving results in the most complex changing conditions. We are aware that our learners in our schools are having so many challenges. And that's why we are counting ourselves as people who will be role modeling so that we can be able to guide our learners to sail through this challenging life. We have a number of leadership styles which are very key when it comes to management and leadership in our schools. And our first, I don't know whether I'm still sharing my slides. Our first leadership style, which is very key, is on a participating leader, or rather a democratic leader. And as you can see in our slides, we are saying these are leaders who shows high concern for people and low concern for task. And I know we can associate ourselves with such leaders in our schools. I remember when I was a young teacher, I served under a principal who was in this category. This is a leader who encourages collaboration and also has a value input from team members. Meaning then, therefore, for such leaders, they can give shared responsibilities. They can allow even the teachers to be able to make decisions through open communication. We are talking about teachers who are leaders who are very inclusive, leaders who portrays emotional intelligence, leaders who can even delegate, believing that the team members will be able to do the task which they have been given. We're also talking about leaders who can be able to solve conflicts. And we are aware there are many times in our schools, even within our departments, that we disagree to agree. Meaning then, therefore, we need to be motivating one another. We need to be very supportive so that we can be able to share our responsibilities in showing concern for people as we continue working. We have the second leadership style, that it's on delegating. There is a pair. And from the delegating attitude, we can say these are leaders who are hands-off approach to leadership, allowing team members significant autonomy, meaning these are leaders who cannot fully give their team members freedom as they continue undertaking their task. We are therefore saying that these leaders have low concern for tasks, and they equally have low concern for people. Why? Because they are giving individual freedoms, allowing, for example, if it is in a school, all the teachers to be making decisions, the learners also to be making their decisions on maybe how their life should be in schools. And the reason why such leaders have low concern for tasks and people, it's because they trust in team members. They have very minimal direct involvement, and therefore they are there to support the entire teams in actualizing their goals. And we are asking ourselves, how many of us can encourage innovation and creativity, even as we continue teaching, so that beyond now our teaching career, beyond our teaching, we'll still keep on sailing through because we have a life to lead. And therefore, this is where now we talk about work-life balance. That despite the many lessons you have to cover in a day, at the end of the day, you must remember that you are a human being, and therefore you need also to pay attention to your individual needs. And this, therefore, encouraging. It's very encouraging on focusing on the big picture of individual goals to ourselves. And therefore, for us to be able now to be associated with this style of leadership, we have to be very patient with life. Where our learners are not performing excellently, we need to have patience with them so that we can keep on encouraging them. Our next leadership style is on selling, equated to effective leadership. And in this category, we are saying that leaders here have high concern for tasks, and also they have high concern for people. These are the principles, for example, who are able to relate well with the staff members, be it teachers, be it non-support teaching staff, be it our students, and also the entire community. And this is a very unique brand of leadership because, again, we are saying if you are showing concern for your responsibilities and at the same time you are minding about those you are serving together, then you must have very strong communication skills so that you can be able to balance now between your responsibilities and also your life desires and expectations. We are saying for you to be able now to stipulate such leadership, you must have emotional intelligence. Why? Because as much as maybe you want to attach yourself with the poor performing learners, at the end of the day, you are expected to make them read and excel, not only in school, but also in life. In this category, therefore, we are saying you must be accountable. You must be a person who can be able now to solve problems within the community, problems maybe within your school. We are saying you must be a mentor. You must be a good coach, because you don't want to maybe punish learners because of wrongdoing, but you want them to learn that even where you are punishing them, you are doing so that you can be able to correct them effectively. Remember, again, we are saying as teachers, we are embracing new discipline measures. Likewise, you need to be resilient. You need to be very adaptable so that you can be able to think strategically on how you are serving. Our next leadership style is autocratic, and this is a telling leader, a leader who has a high concern for tasks and low concern for people. Why? Because again, here we are saying that despite the fact that you are working and you are on a payroll, work must be done and done smartly. A telling leader is the leader who makes decisions on their own and has a lot of control over the team. We are therefore saying that we could be having very high expectations in life, and more so as teachers. But again, even as we are expecting much, we must ensure that any work which is being done should be done as per expectation. And that's why we need to have low tolerance with the wrongdoers. That's why we need to be strong decision makers, personnel. And also, we need also to be in tolerance with disobedience. Why? Because again, we are saying that when we come to schools, again, we have the norms which must be adhered to. This unit 1 also has much to do with contemporary leadership approaches, again, which are very key when it comes to leading and managing, not only in our schools, but also communities. And one key leadership approach, which now we are embracing even as parents, is on transformational leadership, where we are talking about idealized influence, inspirational motivation, intellectual stimulation, and also individual consideration. And for example, we are asking ourselves, are you a teacher who can influence others? Are you a teacher who maybe even when you get to the staff room and calls teacher to attention because you want to announce something, despite of the many numbers of teachers in a staff room, they can all keep quiet during tea break and listen to what you are telling them? Are you a teacher who maybe can stand in front of learners in the morning assembly and make an announcement which is very unpleasant to the learners, and the learners are able to shut their dirty mouth? We are therefore saying that for you to be an influencer, you must be a person who is respectable, a person who is a good listener, a person who can be able to convince the entire members so that they can be able to buy your policies and also believe in what they are telling you. Of course, you must be an honest person, a person who can be admired, a person who is a good role model. And of course, you can be emulated by many through your behaviors and also the way you conduct yourselves. When we are talking about inspirational motivation, we are asking, are we visionary thinkers? Are we passionate about our job? Are we able to encourage and even support team buildings in our schools? I remember sometimes back when I was young, I sometimes could ask myself how I landed to teaching profession. And for us those days, of course, it was very difficult even to tell what you'd want to become in future. And that's why maybe some of us, having taught for many years, we can indeed say that teaching is a noble profession. Teachers are respectable people in the community. Teachers forever are very confident because you can be able to inspire many members. Likewise, of course, when we are talking about the intellectual stimulation, we are asking ourselves, are we problem solvers? How is our IQ level? Can you make a decision, maybe even not only in the classroom, even in your home, and maybe your wife confirms, your husband confirms that indeed my babe, it's somebody who is highly intelligent. We are therefore taxing ourselves so that we can be able to encourage creativity and innovation. Many other times, maybe even your boss will introduce new ways of doing things. And then you are like, through your IQ, you can challenge even those who are leading you. We are therefore saying that for you to be able now to portray your intellectual stimulation, you must be very open to new ideas. You must solve risk-taking. And of course, you must foster independence while you are promoting collaboration. And we are therefore saying that even as you continue teaching, even when you have not prepared yourself adequately, you will be able to portray that indeed your emotional intelligence is at work when you are handling your lessons. Of course, when we are talking about individual consideration, we are asking ourselves, how are we minding about our team members? How are we minding about our communication skills? Because remember, many other times, and more so when provoked to anger, we open our mouth and then whichever communication we relay to our learners, at the end of the day, we not only hurt their emotions, but also their personalities. Let us be good mentors when it comes to individual consideration. Let us aim at building one another, building even our learners in a very positive manner so that we can be able to provide positive, personalized support. Of course, we are aware that our learners performs differently, and that's why we are supposed to be recognizing their achievements every now and then. Many of the times, teacher can even stand up before the learner, announce something, and they even boo you. Why? Because they may feel that either you are not respecting them. You could be having good intentions, but again, the way it is interpreted, you must also be able to receive constructive feedback from the learners, be it through their mannerism or maybe through the responses they give as you continue leading. And we have the third approach. This is on servant leadership, which again is very key. Listening, empathy, healing, awareness, and all these traits we are able to see here, they will make you to be a servant leader. We have a case scenario. Kindly let us have one of us reading through this case scenario. Elvis, kindly mute someone so that I have two participants raising up their hands.
There are many. You can choose one. Elvis.
Andrew.
Andrew, where are you? Ondeke.
Okay, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, thank you. Let me read through it. It says, read the case study below and answer the questions that follow. Mr. Mambo is a long-serving employee in your institution. She feels that she has not been promoted for several years. She complains that younger employees are getting positions of responsibility before her. She feels that the head of the institution is against her. She is now embittered, and in the past few months, she has been applying for positions in other institutions. Her failure to be shortlisted in these applications has further increased her bitterness. She sees the head of the institution as the obstacle to her career progression. Describe the leadership approach that could be used to address the problem that Mrs. Mambo is undergoing.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm just wondering quietly, is this case scenario familiar with some of us? I remember those days when I was teaching, when I was first employed. I served for so many years without even getting any promotion. And even one time, we went for an interview with my colleague. And it was so embarrassing because when we landed to Nyeri, I was in a school in Nyeri, and we had prepared ourselves adequately. When we were just to get to the offices, one of us confessed to us that our principal, those days we used to call them headmistress, had not recommended two of us, and that she was the only one who had a good recommendation. And I remember nilipolimwa sana kwa interview, nikawauliza at a given time freely, nikawauliza mbona mnanizungusha kwa maswali hapa na hapa, na mmoja wao akaniambia ya kwamba barua ambayo walikuwa wameipokea ni kama kwamba haikuashiria naweza kuwa kiongozi bora. And I left the interview room knowing that indeed my headmistress did not want me to be promoted. Through our chat box, which leadership approach could be used to address the problem that Mrs. Mambo is undergoing? I don't know why I'm not able to see my chat box immediately. I think I have enlarged my presentation too much to a point that when it comes to seeing the chat box, I'm encountering some challenges. Remember again, there's ICT technology. To some of us, we keep on practicing so that we can be able to perfect our skills. Intellectual stimulation, that is from, and we forgot to say in the beginning that kindly be renaming your gadget by your name so that we can identify who are responding. Wahogo says, encourage her to first to evaluate herself. Empathy. I wonder whether we are still working together in our presentation again, because we have identified a few leadership styles and we are just asking ourselves, in this scenario, which leadership style can we associate in this school where this young lady feels demotivated because a promotion it's not forthcoming. I can see a number of you have responded, and we are saying that kindly, even as we continue serving, let us remember that there are sometimes promotion is key to undertaking our responsibilities. When as teachers, we are not motivated again, it is so difficult to be able to continue serving effectively. Remember, again, I also like encouraging one another that even these promotions, again, they come with a cost. And therefore, when it is not coming, you just appreciate the situation you are in and aim at developing yourselves in other field. We have two terms here. We are talking about leadership and management, and where we are leading again, we are going through a process of enabling others to be able to counter day-to-day challenges in life and also achieve results in complex changing environments. Likewise, where we are managing, again, we are organizing the internal parts of organization so that we can be able to implement systems and also coordinate resources. And that's why we even talk about managing as planning, managing as organizing, managing even as a motivation factor, and also managing through controlling what it's being done. And in schools, of course, we talk about correcting one another. When we are talking about the concept of leadership again, we are being reminded that for you to be able to be counted as a good leader, you must be a person who is very accommodative to diverse mannerisms of different people. Remember, again, as a leader, you must keep on asking yourselves, how are people taking your leadership styles? Are they able to believe in you? Are they able to say that maybe when they become a leader, they would wish to lead as you are leading? And that's why a leader can be defined by an ability to get others to willingly follow him. And we are asking ourselves, because despite of whichever position you are serving in your school, you are a leader, you need to keep on questioning yourself. Are you a role model? Are you a teacher who, even without promotion, you are contented in serving as a teacher for many years? When we are differentiating between leading and managing again, we still go back to where we were earlier, talking about inspiration, talking about focusing, talking about mobilizing. You could be mobilizing for people to be able to follow you. You could be mobilizing for human resources or even human capital. And likewise, where you are leading, you must be a visionary personality. Ni mpaka uone mbele, si mtu wa kukaa umezubazuba. Ni mpaka uonyeshe ya kwamba wewe upo na utakuwepo kesho na milele. Likewise, as I said earlier, where we are managing again, we are planning, organizing, implementing, and also monitoring and evaluation. You will be able to read through our module and learn more about how we build relationship management in our organization. And there are so many skills which we have highlighted in our module. And the first key, which is a very critical element in building relationship, of course, it's on communication. And we keep on reminding ourselves that for us to be able to be counted as a good communicator, we must keep on accepting negative and positive feedback. Of course, we know there are various ways to communicate information, but we are saying kindly, as we keep on communicating to our learners in our schools, let us be mindful about their feelings, because some of them could be coming from very humble families. Others could be coming from single parenthood, single motherhood, single fatherhood, which is very common in urban centers. And therefore, communication skills are very key to a manager. Public relation, again, also very, how do you relate with others? Do you speak ill of your school? Do you speak positive issues about your learners? How are you able even to attract the community within your schools? When we are managing now conflict again, this is all very key. I have been to schools where even learners and teachers fight. In other schools, even teachers fight among themselves. And we even have homes where forever baba na mama wanapigana. Na swali ni je, wewe kama mwalimu utawezaje kutatua matatizo ambayo huenda yakaja? Sharing leadership, developing and empowering others also is very key. Are you the kind of a person ukishikilia a new idea, you do not even share with others? Are you that teacher who can be able even to develop others? Maybe you have identified a business that it's working well. You are able now to share your leadership skills in view to undertaking that business with your colleagues. Likewise, negotiating is very key, because as a teacher these days, you must be a good negotiator with your learners. Whether they're indisciplined or not, you must show them the way. Likewise, we know even with our managers, some of them are very rigid. Our principals in our schools, maybe you are the head of department. Many other times, maybe you come up with a budget, which is too much. And you are there now trying to negotiate with your principal so that he or she to approve your budget. Networking, again, is very network Building networks, networks is very key. Social networks these days is a capital. I know our young ones, some of them are loners even in schools. So there, mwalimu amejinyamazia tu na hana ubaya na yeyote. Ukimuuliza ni nini kwake yeye, hata wakati watu wanatia gumzo hapo staff room, yeye amejinyamazia tu. Ukija mgeni hata hawezi inamka aone why, because such a people saying that how our learners are socialized when they're in secondary schools. We are encouraging ourselves these days to be able to guide our learners so that they can be able to develop healthy relationships. I keep on sharing with my participants who I meet all over that our generation, it is a generation where even you'd go to church, you meet with your age mate of the opposite sex. Unapomsalimia, you are turning and left. Wamebadilika kabisa. Wao sana sana wasichana wetu hata ndio wanapelekea wanaume vifua perhaps. So what are we saying? That kindly let's know that we are dealing with a generation which and social networks widely. How do you relate with your neighborhood teachers? For example, schools which are excelling, how do you build your social networks? Are you able to benchmark so that you can know what they are doing best in their schools? Emotional intelligence, again, is also very key. And this is where we're able to judge even the decisions which we are making so that we can be counted as people who are using emotional intelligence. Kwa mfano, kama wanafunzi pengine wamekubuu, unakubali tu na yanaisha na unapiga hatua. Ukianza sasa kujibizana na wao, at the end of the day watashinda huyu mwalimu siku hizi amekuwa mjinga au ni nini. And that's why sometimes we say that keeping is a good virtue. We have the most common ways we communicate. I think hakuna haja nishindilie. Again, we are aware we have 3 types of communication: downwards, upwards, and lateral, or even horizontal. And we are asking ourselves, even in our schools, how do we receive, for example, the communications? Are our principals able to utilize the upwards communication more because you are the teachers in the ground, you are the one who faces now participants, students in the normal classroom setup. I remember our days when we were newly posted to schools. Communications were mainly downwards communication. Our headmistresses, our headmasters those days, you could not even argue with them. And many of us, our teachers of those days, we would have piles of memos where we were supposed either to respond in writing. Other times you are called even in the office so that you can explain whichever issue was ahead of you. And we are therefore saying that as the leader, it is also very good to practice horizontal communication. Why? Because again now, the feedback will be very constructive. You will be able to share communication, which is very effective. And at the end of the day, you will not be having issues which are left unsolved. And many other times we know, depending on where you are teaching, our leaders hardly engage us in any decision making. Where now we are promoting public leadership again, we are saying we must be able to promote goodwill. We must be able to speak well of our schools, to speak well of our school managers, and also to speak well of our community. Many other times we hear, even from our colleagues, mtu anasema tu, I wish I can get job elsewhere. Happening Gehama Kitambo. And remember such people. Of course, they could be having issues in their lives. But again, we are saying, let us aim at promoting our schools so that we can create a positive image. Likewise, corporate communications, it's very key when it comes to public relations. Remember again, our schools are like organization, and therefore we must keep on robbing for good students. We must keep on robbing maybe for good athletes, robbing even for the sportsmen and also sports young ladies from other schools so that we can be able to excel. Counteracting negative publicity again is also very key in promoting public relations. And that's why we are saying, if you feel that maybe your colleague have nothing positive to speak about the school, nothing positive to speak about maybe the principal or even other colleagues, watu kama hao unawaondokea tu, because again, such negative energy can make you even feel demotivated. Likewise, promotion of your school brand again, as I said earlier, is very key. We have a section on shared leadership, developing and also empowering others, which is also very key. And I keep on encouraging teachers that sometimes it is good to practice what we call parable in teaching, where, for example, if you are teaching Kiswahili and you are 3 of you in a form, you are 3 of you in a class, you can be able to allocate yourself topics as per your expertise. If, for example, mmoja ana uwezo wa kufundisha fasihi vizuri, anachukua vipindi vya fasihi, na sijui siku hizi imekuwa ni fasihi simulizi ama inaitwa nini. Kama mwingine pengine ana ujuzi wa kufafanua vizuri, kuyachambua mashairi, naye anachukua vipindi hivyo. Kama pengine mwenzako ana ujuzi, anaegemea katika sarufi, pengine katika matamshi bora, you divide yourself so that you can be able to have what we call collaboration teaching. When you read through this presentation also, you'll be able to see some of the characteristics of shared leadership. And I know a number of them, I have mentioned them. We have agreed that as a teachers, we need to be mentors, we need to be coaching not only our young ones, but even with our newly posted teachers in our schools. Conflict management, again, is also very key. And here we'll be asking ourselves, how do we solve conflicts? Not only in our schools, but even in our homes and also in our communities. Because again, we are saying sometimes negative energy in conflicts may sometimes diminish even your whole personality. And we are therefore saying that as school leaders, again, we must be able to include some of the tips which we are highlighting in our module 2, in which courses conflict. I have spoken much about communication. Again, many other times, many cases in schools, I have been to many schools in our country, and more so now our junior schools, where our Gen Z teachers are forever quarreling with their managers. Why? Because of the utilization of resources in our schools, even in our homes, where maybe even a couple, you are not agreeing on the expenditures within a home. At times it can result to conflict. Again, poor leadership can cause conflict in our schools. And that's why we are saying kindly, be patient, even with your principals, who sometimes could be lacking, I don't know, in quotes to say, high IQ. Likewise, unfair distribution of benefits or resources can cause conflicts in our schools. And we are aware sometimes favorism, very common in our schools. Other times, even promotion, it's normally to a few, depending on how your school leader was socialized. We are therefore saying that in solving such conflicts again, we need to describe the situation which is resulting to conflicts. We need to identify our targets in whichever conflicts we are in, so that we can be able to identify options and again develop a plan and act upon it. What are we saying? That even in solving the conflict among our learners in our classes, we must come up with a plan which at the end of it all will result to encouraging our learners to be able to maintain good discipline. Allow me to skip that activity there so that very fast I can go to negotiating, and I may not have much to talk about it because my time is almost up. But I'm saying kindly, let us ensure that we are able to persuade where we are negotiating, so that at the end of it all, we can win. I have spoken about networking, and I'm charging every one of us here to be a good networker. Why? Because again, man is a social being, and you cannot act on isolation in this world. In other ways, I usually keep on saying, anaishi pweke ni kama mchawi, mtu ambaye hataki kuhusiana na wenzake, mtu ambaye hawezi kudumisha uhusiano bora na wenzake, huyo ni mtu ambaye ana yake. And we are therefore saying kindly, as we continue building our social networks, let us remember networks are many. We have the formal, where we are talking about the professional networks, which, for example, we can build amongst ourselves with other well-performing schools in our neighborhood. We are talking about informal network, which are very key in building our personal relationships with other people. We are likewise talking about internal network, where we are engaging professionally, and also we are able also to keep contacts with other developed personalities, be it in our schools or in the community. Of course, very key, I emphasize about the external network. Why? Because here, professionally, you are okay. And then, of course, you also want to develop the outside world, or even the outside environment which you are living in. When we are talking about emotional intelligence again, sometimes I keep on reminding myself that as a human being, you cannot know everything. And that's why even I remember when I was younger a bit, reading a novel, a Kiswahili novel entitled Hakuna Asiye Mjinga, ya kwamba all of us tunakuanga na chembe chembe kidogo za ujinga. And that's why we are supposed to keep on sharpening each other's tools so that we can be able to act in a manner likely to suggest that we have emotional intelligence. And I remember again, as I said, mwalimu ni mtu ambaye ni wa kuheshimika, sio shuleni peke yake, lakini kijijini. Na swali ni je, how do you man your emotions so that even when you are annoyed by either your people or maybe your learners in your school, you can be able to stand firm and show that emotionally you are upright. If we had time, maybe we could cite examples of a leader who you have worked with, who you can talk well of. You can give reasons maybe why you are able to relate well with such a leader. We are aware that, and most of those who have served in a number of schools, there are some schools where you are posted, and even when a promotion comes, you find it very hard to leave that school. In other schools, we are there longing to be transferred, and we know a transfer comes only after 5 years. So we are saying how we make others think of us, it's how we'll be taken through. Strategic planning, again, is also very key in our schools, in our organization, and also in our homes. And we're asking ourselves, do we have objectives which are smart? Do we have goals that we are aiming at achieving in life? And if we have those objectives, we have the goals in life in our schools, we can talk about planning now for, we can talk about strategic planning process so that at the end of it all, if it is in view to changing your vision, your mission statements in your school, you can be able to guide the process. Of course, we are aware some of our mission statements in our schools are outdated. For example, you get to the school and the mission statement is Elimu ni Mwangaza. And when we get to that school, there is nothing which can indeed confirm Mwangaza wa Elimu. We are therefore asking ourselves, what are our guiding philosophies in our schools as we think of strategic planning? What are we now? How do we want to get where we want to go? How do we implement the strategies in place? And how are we doing currently so that we can be able to improve or rather even develop ourselves? Remember, most of our mission statements in our schools are outdated. And you as a transformative leader, you can guide in the process of changing those mission statements so that they can meet the expectation of the community within your schools. Likewise, when we are talking about a vision, many are the daydreamers. Of course, you keep on dreaming, you'd want to become this and that, you'd want to achieve this and that. But the question here is, do you have any process that you can undertake so that at the end of it all, you can be able to say that indeed the vision statement which you are making to yourself as a father, as a mother, at the end of it all, it will come to be. And that's why we are saying, let us look at our vision statements in our schools so that we can be able to change the entire school community. Developing the values, again, is very key. Remember the generation which we are handling in our schools, and values are very key. When we are talking about such values like responsibility, value for love, integrity, all those values, remember some of these values are inborn, but again, we can also impart through now encouraging our learners so that they can be able to have what I call mindset. Conducting SWOT analysis, again, is also very key in developing values, not only to ourselves, but also to our learners. Remember, again, schools do not operate in isolation. Our schools belongs to the community, and that's why the community is a key stakeholder. And therefore, when we are conducting our stakeholders analysis, when we are talking about maybe the school board of management, when we are talking about the suppliers of the schools, the parents, the community, the alumni, we need now to listen so that we can be able to identify where we need to engage them. I beg also, I skip this group activity, but at your own time, as you go through our module, you will be able to look at those activities so that they can guide you in understanding whichever content we are communicating. Strategy formulation, again, is also very key. And we are reminding ourselves here that we need at least to imagine that we have a project which we are undertaking for 3 years. You have maybe, next year we are not receiving the Form 1, maybe you have Form 2, and you are asking yourself, by the end of 3 years, as you as students now complete schooling in secondary schools, which strategies will you take up so that your learners will be able to excel? Remember here, as I mentioned earlier, your learners must not score highly, but at the end of it all, aim at developing a well-grown-up citizen of the country. Because again, when we start counting about how excellent our learners are performing, again, we will lose their developmental part of growth in the school. Gap analysis, again, is also very key in our schools, where we need to be asking, what is it that we are missing? How can we be able to attain that which we do not have in our schools? And that, again, also is another process which is well explained in our module. And we even have that log frame. And finally, we have monitoring and evaluation, which is very key. At the end of it all, whichever commitment you are taking, whichever activity you are undertaking, you must conduct what we call monitoring, evaluation, and even at the end of it all, you need also to include the reporting, because you must keep on accounting for what you have been requested to accomplish. Building top performing teams, again, that is another very interesting unit where, again, we are encouraging ourselves to be working in teams so that we can be able to actualize that which is ahead of us. We have a number of stages of team development: the forming, the storming, the morning, joining, and finally the performing teams. I will also charge you to read through that. It's not a very difficult unit, you will be able to read through those stages so that you can be able to tell how you relate with your colleagues in school, how you relate with your community member. Finally, I want to request one of us to read that last activity so that I can usher in my brother, Dr. Ngetich, to continue with the remaining units. Elvis, kindly allow a baby girl to read
Caroline.
for us this time. Thank you.
So hello.
Hello, Wanjuko.
Okay, I'm going to read. Study the case below and answer the questions that follow. Mr. Hongera has been asked to lead a team of 7 members. The team has been meeting twice a week for the last 1 month. The members have become close over the weeks. Mr. Hongera has not been very pleased with the team's performance. Only 3 weeks remain before a presentation is due to the County Director of Education. At first, the members were enthusiastic, but they have lost some of their enthusiasm and have begun to come to the meetings late. They have, however, been developing better ideas on how to improve the school. 3 of the members are causing problems in the team. Mr. Moto is constantly putting down others' ideas, insisting that they will not work. He is very knowledgeable, but is reluctant to listen. Mr. Baridi is very pleasant and always tries to keep the peace. He never disagrees with anyone and rarely makes suggestions. Ms. Jembe is very eager to get the group on task as she knows how important this project is to the county management. She's impatient with lengthy discussions and wants to see results. She thus interrupts lengthy discussions and pushes the group to make a decision. Describe the major problems facing this team. Giving reasons, identify the stage of team development they are in. Recommend the behaviors that should be used to move the team toward the next stage of team. Thank you.
Thank you, Wanjuko. I want to believe this is a common case scenarios in our schools. And although we were not able to discuss fully about building teams, I'm sure we can be able to give ideas, responses in view to our question. Kindly let us get to our chat box and then either respond to either of the questions because there are 3. I know Jembe, Mr. Baridis, there are very many in our schools. We have the loners, we have poor communicators, we have those, of course, who are passionate about delivering timely assignments, etc. Elvis, kindly read for me the responses. Sorry, I'm able to see. I'm able to see. Frederick Odhiambo, I haven't seen your ineffective leadership, low esteem, low self-esteem. Remember, this is an assignment which has been given to a team. Poor communication amongst them. Thank you, Dorothy. Either they're not able to communicate effectively. We have a Mr. San who has withdrawal symptoms. Philip says ineffective communication. Frederick, of course, is talking about they do not have teamwork. They have major problems. Which are these problems? Of course, they're in the stage of forming. Remember, again, group dynamics are very key when it comes to undertaking a common assignment. But again, here I'm seeing majority of us are talking about communication, and where we are emphasizing on communication again, it's also good to think of good listening, because I want to believe, and more so with the perfectionist, like our madam Jembe here, she is a perfectionist, and sometimes it is good to know how to relate with such personalities in life. And therefore, if we had much time, maybe we can be able to tell that this group now, it's beginning to bond. They're beginning now to know each another, so that they can be able to share the responsibilities ahead of them. You will be able to read through how to establish teams, and that is very key, because again, as I said earlier, we are of different personalities. We have, as human beings, we are different, we behave differently, we relate with each other differently. And that's why you are supposed to go through the characteristics of high-performing teams, so that at the end of it all, you will be able to be accommodated by your team members. Remember, again, there are sometimes we keep personal differences aside, and more so when it comes to undertaking our responsibilities in our schools. We have been guided by Katzenbach and Smith on how to build high-performing teams. And many other times, of course, I know we have departments in our schools. We also have subject panels where we are expected to be working together. And that's why we need to know these characteristics, so that we can be able to embrace one another as colleagues and work effectively with minimal conflicts. Let me say minimal, because at work we must disagree to agree. And when we are talking about the characteristics of high-performing teams, we are asking ourselves, how do we establish urgency? How do we conduct the demanding activities ahead of us as teams? How do we select members for skills? And also, how do we identify those skills with those people we are teaming with? How do we pay particular attention to each other when we meet for the first time, so that we can be able to undertake a task? How do we set clear rules of behavior to ensure that we are accommodative to each other? Likewise, remember, in group workings, there are many challenges which come every now and then. How do we communicate so that we can ensure that the much time we are spending together in undertaking that which is expected for us, we are able to work harmoniously? Many other times, of course, here we talk about even offering each other a colleague hug. You might not be very accommodated in your schools, but where you are given a colleague hug, of course, you are able now to attach yourself with your other staff members. I will leave that quotation so that I can usher in my brother, Dr. Barakwang. I'm sorry I was not able to engage you very much, but being our first session, I promise next time I will be able now to deliver appropriately. But 2 hours, 1 hour, sometimes it's usually very limiting. But let us continue engaging so that we can be able to be counted as transformative leaders. Thank you very much and good evening.
Thank you, Madam Eunice. My sister, you have taken them through and you have chewed the bigger part of the presentation. And I like the way you are even sharing life experience, which resonates with the unit. Therefore, I want to ask you that having an overview of what Madam has taken you is looking at this leader who is transformative leader. And at the same time, we are also looking at this leader with the kind of styles that the leader is using. She has also gone to an extent of what are other factors that influence our leadership or his leadership. And that is why finally has looked at planning in terms of strategic plan and looked at the team, because a leader, that is why some of you are saying a leader goes ahead of others. Others are followers. In your definition, a leader inspires. A leader is entrusted to giving directions. A leader takes responsibility. Therefore, his role is, again, the last part Madam has touched on, is building top performing teams. What is now remaining? Because now we have looked at the characteristics of this transformist or a transformative leader, and most of you are in that leadership. I don't know whether you could place yourself into these characteristics that have been stated by Madam, but now what is remaining? And for your sustainability in that position is performance. It calls for that you perform, and you must showcase your performance because you have been given all the resources, you have been given the position, you've been given the people to work with, you've even been approved the plans. Then now, how do you go about performance? I think that is what I'm going to take you through. Let me share my screen. Fine. I'm simply going to touch on 3 other areas that are remaining. That is performance management, change management, because once you want to get performance, of course, performance goes with certain things which must be fixed so that things or results or performance are obtained. And finally, we are going to look at quality management system, or which, in case you want to get performance, you must actually, the performance must be quality. It's not merely performance. So I just want to take you through, like, what is performance management? You will realize that it put together. Some people are talking of systems, processes that are directed towards improvement, and even sustainability. Anytime, whatever you do is a process. Whatever you are doing must also register improvement. Whatever you do must be sustained. That's why some schools are usually topping. And they tell you it is not easier to remain there. Sustaining those positions are not easier. And therefore, as you are going to talk on performance management, then we are going to talk of targets. We are also going to look at strategic objectives and other integrated approach in a holistic manner. So that is an overview that I want you to get as a definition for performance management. And therefore, while we are asking ourselves, is performance necessary? Is performance management necessary? You realize yes. Why? Because individuals have their own objectives. Organizations have objectives. And whenever organizations are in place, then there are certain objectives that they need to serve, like your schools. There is a purpose that your school is serving, and it is captured in the vision and the mission. The individuals who are coming to the school are personal objectives as well as integrating with the organizational objectives. As well, what is now aspired is that individual performance must be seen to be improving, organizational or school performance must be seen to be improving. And that's why there's a place where I met some members, some teachers, and they were saying, while you are working at school mean, then you should also work at your own mean. Yeah? I think that is actually critical. It is critical. And therefore, we are saying individuals as well as schools or organizations or institutions must register that performance. The same time, again, while we are looking at this performance, the trend improves. Like for instance, if you look at performance of last year and then performance that you are anticipating for next year, then there are certain decisions you are going to make. It is informed by this performance management. Finally, for you to perform, there's a culture. You must develop a culture for performance. And that's why we are saying we must have a culture for performance. So there is a particular way in which one does the performance. Otherwise, it is not doing anything anyway, in any manner, no. So there is a culture. And therefore, the key elements, if you are to achieve performance management, these are key elements. I've summarized actually, as you will go through the module, you will be able to unpack, but I've simply summarized for your understanding. These key elements that when you are handling performance management in your institution, then you are looking at planning, you are looking at monitoring, you are looking at analyzing data, and then you are looking at review, and finally, people and the culture. There's a time I contacted a survey, and I've gone around to our schools, and a gap which was established is that in our schools, we don't have monitoring tools. So I think that is a gap. But what we are doing in our schools, we are setting objectives. They are in form of schemes of work. They are in forms of term activities. We are setting targets. We are also creating indicators. Like for instance, for us to say that we have achieved this, and even for purpose of measuring, then there are certain indicators. What do we require? Possibly, if you want to know that there is a planning for teaching and learning processes, some of the indicators schemes of work must be there. A teacher is going to class, there is lesson plans, those are indicators. And then the students' attendance register, which is marked on daily, that is it. Therefore, those are part of the planning so that the teaching and learning process continues. Then monitoring is where we are undertaking measuring and monitoring achievement or performance at different levels so that we can be able to see. You don't wait until the end of the year. And that is why when we used to have exams, there were some cards given out, and even what people talk of series, I don't know what they call, they refer to series, and then they have mock. That was the time when they could be able now to say, this year, we are likely to achieve more because of the trend that we are seeing of monitoring. And that is why where an institution waits until they get the final results, that can be absurd because what comes out might be something serious. Then we are also saying whatever data we get, most of us, we are collecting a lot of data, but sometimes we don't even make use of this data. And how to make use of them is that you need to analyze them. And once you analyze them, then you can make decisions based on the evidence that you get. Like for instance, most of us, we have always looked at in our schools, come to the administration block. Outside there is a notice board. They have indicated the students or learners who are present and absent. But you collect all that at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the term, at the end of the year. What sense do you make out of that data? So there is high time that you start making sense of that data, analyze, make decisions for improvement. Review, there are certain steps which you must be undertaken. You know, in any activity going on, like if we are to undertake assessment, or even when we are, a teacher is assigned a particular learning area or a lesson to teach. You don't simply walk into the classroom and teach. There is a process. You are assigned, maybe a department meeting is, or a subject panel is, meeting is undertaken. Then there is allocation of that area. Then you start now preparing schemes of work from the lesson plan based on that particular subject. So there are processes from step to step. Then, you know, we are in a school. We are having people, the staff that Madam Eunice have even described. We have all sorts of people in our institutions, and people actually forms the society, forms the community, and that's why we talk of a school community. And therefore, the leadership must take cognizance of the people and the culture so that they can be able to, they are able to lead improvement in that particular institution. Therefore, through a chat, and possibly because of time, I could allow you to respond to this in a chat. Usually, a new management system that are undertaken usually is what we call resource-based performance. And that is where it is not about performance alone, but it is performance based on the results. So we call results-based performance. So there are tools which are used. I wanted us to, I'm saying, what is results-based performance tools do you apply to ensure that your institution attain improvement? So maybe you can be able to post through your chat. Then I can be able to read the few responses. I hope you're able to get something out of it. Let me get 3 responses. Make your response. Which are some of the tools that we are using possibly to measure performance in our institutions? Not even measuring, to put in place the performance in our institution. I'm not yet gotten any response. The response are there. Yeah, response are there. Assessment test, the DPAT. Thank you so much. That is the TSC tool. Yes. Setting targets, good. Target setting, appraisals, performance appraisal, very good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Performance records, like records of work. Thank you so much. Somebody have put rubrics, joint examinations, all that. Thank you, thank you. I'm happy for that response. And therefore, let me take you through some of the tools. And, you know, I've introduced a very big term when I'm talking of resource-based management. And it is a strategy where everyone contributes to the performance of the institution, directly or indirectly. I'm asking you, are you aware that when we talk of a mean score, even the watchman contributes to that mean score. Even the cook contributes to that mean score. And it happens when the watchman is receiving the student coming in, and you know, next to the gate is the billboard indicating, or what we call the poster, which is indicating the target for the year. Then the watchman is reminding that student that you must attain this. The cook, while serving the student, is also reminding the student you must attain that. So collectively, every individual is contributing to the performance, where they are part of the processes, the products that they generate, the services that they provide. The desired resource that we are looking for, we attain the goals, we have obtained the outputs and the outcomes. And the outcomes is, finally, we are looking at holistic planner. That is what we are referring to, resource-based management. It's a strategy that we must embrace as a transformative leader. And therefore, I will go through some of them, and they are very familiar. We have been hearing. You might think that they are not applicable, but I assure you, if you try this, you will register remarkable results. So I will go, there are around 4, 5. One is this, what they call RRI. RRI, even the government have always been using it. Even the governments that are coming in place, they normally say in 100 days, that is what we are calling rapid resource initiative. Even you, like you want to now to break a record in terms of the performance in your institution, you want to put up a tiny hall, you want to put up administration block, you initiate, you come up with RRI, where you define your goal, get a target, keep the indicators, and be accountable. When we talk about accountability, the resources and the responsible people. The method that is used is referred as jumpstarting the major effort. I'm telling you here, people are putting more efforts that have never been before, because in 100 days, people must achieve that target. This is where you are looking at a bigger thing, like in a large scale, huge. You are looking at a tiny one, which is costing 10 million, for instance. Yes, and then you ask yourself, wow, am I going to raise this 10 million? Then now you break into series that comes with the results that, with initiatives that are achievable. With wonders, you realize you will achieve it. So in the real sense, we are talking of RRI is a strategy that translates a challenge into actionable results that you can be able to achieve within 100 days. Try with something small. Even if in your institution, you don't have toilets that looks modern, you can try with that one. And within 100 days, you can achieve. It is worth trying. So the benefit of this is that it focuses on output within a short period of time. It also facilitates completion of many projects. If you place your strategy into this particular method, then you will find you will be achieving more projects. It generates progression and even momentum in terms of development and achievement of the objectives. It stimulates some insight, and that is why your school will be even visited for benchmarking. Why? Because there is something that you are doing, that you are even facing challenges, and you are overcoming challenges, even risk. And you will also realize that every project that you undertake, you achieve within the period that you have stated, 100 days. Challenging tasks are achieved. That is RRI. The next tool of resource-based management is performance contracting. And most of the teachers, particularly teachers, principals, they are actually under this. And in fact, I was to ask you where you apply, but let me take you through, first of all, this performance contracting. It is a new modern system that every organization, particularly government agencies, are going through this. and 8 teachers have been signing with TSC, the performance contracting, where it involves two parties agreeing to one, particularly the one now undertaking the performance contract is the one we refer to subordinate, undertakes and commits oneself to deliver the defined targets within a specified period, usually 1 year, because at the end of the year, there is an evaluation. So this one facilitates proper selection of priorities. You don't do anything, and you'll find some people, when they get money, they get confused, they even quarrel, there is disagreement. Why? Because there is no performance target, performance contracting. So here you are having priorities, you are having targets that are measurable. At the end of that period, which is stated, there is an evaluation, and then it is measured against the targets. Therefore, in fact, performance contracting is based on this belief that what gets measured gets done. What is measured gets done, but what is not measured, then it's not done. I gave you, I think this, I'll save you the task of doing this activity, because one of the responses are those ones of the TSC principles, and the teachers are actually signing performance contracting with the TSC. And it is cascaded now to the aids of department, to the subject, and the section aids. So I think I'll save you on that. I may not ask you any question there. Now, there is another one, a strategy again for performance, which we call balanced scorecard. It is not something which is difficult. Here, in a school that has a strategic plan, and I believe every school has a strategic plan, then for you to monitor the implementation and the achievement of the goals in the strategic plan, then you use what we call balanced scorecard. And this balanced scorecard gives a comprehensive measure of how the institution progresses, and you can even measure every aspect of the strategic objectives in a strategic plan. So here, my friends, if you have a strategic plan, then any other given time, you must equip yourself with this strategy for performance, balanced scorecard, because it will help you just a bit.
Excuse me, a number of you are asking for the registration link. Kindly just be patient. It will be shared shortly by Elvis. Remember again, we agreed that communication is via chat box. A few of you are keeping on raising up your hand. Let us communicate via the chat box so that we can respond to your queries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, my admin here. I was having a challenge of network because it was breaking. So let me again. My screen is visible. Okay. Then there is a.
It is visible.
All right. It's all right. Now, I was now saying every institution I've got thank you, Madam Eunice. I'm now seeing you will find every institution, and if you don't have a strategic plan, it is better to have even a better part one that you can improve on, so that it is one of the tools for performance. So if you don't have, then you don't think of performance. So we are saying, if you have a strategic plan, the implementation of a strategic plan, the monitoring of a strategic plan, you are using balanced scorecard. And therefore, the areas that you are looking at when you are doing monitoring or using the balanced scorecard is you are looking at these areas, thematic areas: financial, customer, internal business processes or internal processes, and then learning and growth. When you are looking at finances, we are looking at profitability, but because most of our schools we don't have, we are not looking at profit, but we are looking at productivity or that, or we are looking at value for money. So we are saying that we have invested. Do we get the value for money? Then customers, our students, our clients, are they happy? You also look at customer satisfaction. At the end of the year, you can also circulate a questionnaire and establish some of the areas whether the students are happy about it. Let them fill a questionnaire to indicate their state of the level of satisfaction over the services you are rendering the school, including the teaching and learning processes. Internal processes, we are also looking at effectiveness and efficiency in whatever we do. Are we efficient? Are we effective? So that there is, if it is projects, are we actually saving on money, value for money? There's also time element. And then learning and growth, we are looking at capacity. In terms of whatever we undertake, are we capable? And if we are not capable, can we take some of the staff to be trained in order to be empowered? In case of resources or even finances, even management, are we having able also management that they are able to make decisions that are progressive so that they move our institution from one state to another? Now, that is what we call balanced scorecard. It is doable. Then another strategy, which normally a tool of performance, result-based performance, many people know, but I want to make it clear to you that usually we are embracing at the moment a continuous improvement. That continuous improvement, which we call value-added progress in our TSC, particularly the DPAT, what is indicated is value-added progress. It is a component of what we call Gemba Kaizen, which is a Japanese term. And what it means is making a workplace better by modifying or even changing on a continuous basis, creating that environment, and so that the results continue increasing or experiencing incremental. And therefore, any person who is undertaking any performance, be it a student, be it the teachers, be it even the principal, whatever results that they are registering must actually indicate that continuous improvement. It is actually, that is the philosophy of Gemba Kaizen. Now, so that you can be able to understand better, these are some of the things which are embraced, the 5 S's. One is sort, the next one is strengthen, the next one is scrap, the next one is standardize, the next one is sustain. These things are very important. Like you sort out, and then what is not necessary, you get rid of it. So you get things that are functional. If they are not functional, then you remove. And you will even realize sometimes the system will remove you if you are not also protecting. So that is what is meant by that. So yeah. Then the next one is strengthening. This is strengthening is where strengthen something is actually you arrange items. If you are in a shop, those that are needed, you arrange in the order of ease so that those people who are coming, they can be able to pick. Even as a teacher, you know, past them what are actually needed. You arrange, you prioritize activities based on the need at that particular time. Then it looks like you are okay. Then when you talk of a scrap, having an environment that is clean, having an environment that is neat, so that is and it should be regular. That's why every morning in some places you'll find students are going around collecting papers, or there is a system, every corner there is a litter so that the student drops stuff, and then there are those bins, I don't know, Mr. Bean coming to collect. Then you talk of standardize. Here is where you come up with you maintain a standard in a continuous manner where you are always, you have a standard. It is a standard that improvement is always continuous. And finally, sustaining. You must apply a procedure, a standard procedure. And that procedure is what will sustain your performance. So those are the 5 S's by Kaizen. Therefore, Kaizen went to simplify that if you want to apply this in a small way, these are some of the things, like they give you tips. And these are doable. Like you discuss fixed ideas. You know, there are people who are coming with ideas. Can you become adaptive, become innovative, be receptive to ideas, different ideas? The ideas must be dynamic so that don't just become traditional, just become modern to an extent that you can be able to accept any idea which is coming, and you can buy ideas. I think the idea of buying ideas is coming here. Then think of how to do it. Just come up with a way of doing it. Then another thing is that never have excuse. And you will realize sometimes we say this must be performed. And some process will tell you there is no excuse. The advice is don't have any excuse. Then do not seek perfections. You know, that one can break. Sometimes you realize a case scenario that was cited by Madam Eunice in an activity is that there was a lady who was perfectionist. Sometimes that one can frustrate people, it can break. And therefore, there should be room for provision for errors so that those errors can be corrected for improvement. Then correct any mistake where it is there, get it and correct it so that you get in the right way. Do not spend a lot of money. That is why even in teaching, you say improvise. You become innovative. Use wisdom. Wisdom calls for, so that not every time money cannot buy everything. And then lastly, ask why 5 times. Check the root cause. Get the answer. Because for everything that takes place, there is a reason. The last one is reengineering. I don't know whether it's the last one. I think for this case, it's reengineering. That is a strategy. I know most of us, we have not reached at that level, but big organizations have looked at it. And what are we doing here? You are coming with a radical redesign of the institution. You even change the processes, the teaching, the timetable, you change, so long as you are meeting the threshold of the requirement, so that you come up with dramatic improvement on productivity and performance. So what are you looking at? Redesigning and improvement. Those are 2 things that you are looking at. What do? You look at the vision. Madam Yun said some of the schools have got outdated visions. You start looking at the vision. Make your vision relevant. Come up with a goal. What about steps? Are things done the right way? Look at the ways. Then you say, somehow, this is not the way it should be done. You come with the ways that can yield performance. You analyze anything which is done, analysis to be done. So you will have, even that's why some schools have got director of studies charged with the responsibility of analyzing. That is why some schools have got quality assurance to analyze. Redesigning. Now, you say in this level now, you come up with other alternatives. What can be done better? You now evaluate again, because now you come up with a process of redesigned process. You implement, see whether continuous improvement have been realized. I wish you try this. You realize actually you can register an improvement. Now, I want to take you change. You know, if you look at some of these things, some of you are going to try. When you try them, you've already gotten into a process of change. And change is where organization tends to move from one state to another state. And of course, it is not easier. There are certain things which must be done. And therefore, this could be to increase productivity, to increase performance through increased effectiveness. So I'm telling you, you may not implement all those I've said without change. So this, you must have a change leader who could be the principal or the teacher taking the lead. Is the one who is responsible for the change. Then we have a change champion. Of late, we have been having projects that we have been identifying even teacher champions in various projects or programs. Here, you will have a champion who is going also to lead the change process over time and works to overcome the obstacles. So if you look at this diagram, I want somebody to possibly look at it, identify a flow. If you can make a sense of it, it is worth trying. Let me see. Any person can just, can I get somebody taking us through that, anything that you can see and make a sense out of it? Sorry. I'll give you okay. Just, I'll give you okay. Let me have your hand up. And my space is limited. Possibly there's an officer there also who can assist me. Anybody who is, have your hand up, somebody who can take us through the diagram. Once your hand is up, Madam Nicole. Madam Nicole, you can assist me. Anybody? Yes, there are quite a number of people. Pick on somebody you can allow to unmute. We are not hearing you, Madam Nicole. Okay. Then is well.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
From my end, what I can see are two different leaders there under change management. So there is one who is a change leaders, and there's another one under status quo managers. So the one who is maybe using the change leaders, change management, is confident of ability, willing to take risks, seizes opportunity, expects surprise, and makes things happen. So this kind of a leader is swift in promoting and actively supporting others, maybe to creativity and innovations. Then the other one, who is a status quo manager, will the characteristics are that he's threatened by change, bothered by uncertainty, prefers predictability, supports the status quo, and waits for things to happen. This person will always avoid and even discourages others to attain creativity and innovation. Thank you.
Thank you. And do you realize that the two can happen at the same time? One is introducing change and is the team leader. And then another one is resisting change and is the manager who is expected to implement. So I wanted you to look at this diagram as one. Say that at the middle is where now, as a leader, you create that creativity and innovation so that you can be able to overcome that manager at the status quo. That is actually what I wanted to say. And therefore, these are a few things which I wanted us to be clear that anytime you bring change, there is a reaction. One of the reaction is denial. Those who are resisting will actually deny, and they will not accept. But one thing for you to overcome is that this person requires more information. You equip more information, keep more information for as to why they change. Then there is resistance, of course. That's why you have been hearing saying, we reject. You hear reject, resistance. But now, how you overcome, you give them an opportunity to express their feelings. That is how you can overcome. Then the next one is exploration. Some people want to establish what are the possibilities, what are the resources, what are opportunities which are there over this change. Then commitment. I would ask you, please don't manage change process. As a leader, let people manage themselves rather than managing the change. Then strategies for leading change, and most of the leaders are using these strategies. It is upon you now to choose whether. I may not recommend you, but these are three. There are more, but the ones which I'm focusing are three. If you want to manage change, you use coercion. What are you doing? You are using your powers, which are legitimate because you are in authority. You reward some, you punish others, you even sanction. You ask somebody, you will not do unless you get permission. That is actually, I don't know whether it is the best, but it is upon you. The next one is rational persuasion. Here, you are sweet talking to these people based on the knowledge, the facts, empirical data, even arguing, and look at the pros and the cons. And finally, shared power. You ask these people, just come, we share. We share power. Yeah, come, you handshake, so that at least they are part of this change. And we have seen this one happening in some institutions. Finally, there is this effects of resistance to change, which of course you are going to look at it in that diagram. It is very interesting. It's very interesting because you will realize it is a crack. Actually, it has broken the unity. There is a delay, avoiding task, hostility. These are your teachers who are resisting change. These are what they will display to you. Yeah? Frustration, sabotage, absenteeism. Yeah? Those are the even fake sickness that we are sick and they are not sick. Performance will start declining. Some of the teachers are going to talk to class and they are not teaching. Yes. How do you overcome this? Well, it is another innovative way. Provide more information, advanced information, because before you introduce change, let people be prepared by keeping information, and information that actually paints the picture on what the actual change is. Inform the affected people and the reason why they change. Let them ask questions, clarify their questions, keep them to reflect. Tell them, we are giving you time to think about it. And then they'll go out there, they will even discuss with their families, like for instance, retrenchment. Yes. So you don't tell somebody, I'm dismissing you. No. You let them prepare so that they will even, people say that they will develop shock observers. And finally, early adapters. Early adapters. I hope there's something you are big from that. Maybe I can hear something because the other part of quality management system is very small, and I'm likely to wind after looking at it is only 2 slides. So I want to say to hear something from you. Maybe some people just my brother Elvis, you can keep 2 people. I want, you know, this issue of change management is not easy thing. Just keep 1 gentleman, 1 lady for them to react to that.
Peter,
Please, let's be brief. Your reaction about change management and how you perceive it.
Peter, you have something to say?
You can pick somebody else.
Philip,
A lady. A lady.
Phyllis.
Maybe these are people who raised their hands and they forgot to put down. I'm asking now. Anybody who is raising now, I'm giving you an opportunity to react.
Lawrence.
Anybody?
Lawrence, please unmute yourself.
Just unmute yourself. Aye, you don't want to talk to me. All right. I can go ahead. Or can you unmute all of them? Then we can see. Maybe they have a challenge.
Let's try Bernard.
Okay.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Yes, I think it should be embraced to improve performance, and then also to eradicate weak and those who are not adding value in the institution.
That's serious. How do you eradicate? I just want you to put it into perspective. How do you eradicate these people? There is an element of mentoring and coaching, which Madam Eunice came about it, but now you are coming over another scenario where you want to be eradicated. Can you keep an insight?
You use your legitimate power, the first one. Because
Okay.
in the current 21st century, parents expect performance and quality performance from their learners. So we have no time for dilly-dallying.
That one will open a debate. You are lucky because you are the only one who is unmuted. All right. Thank you for that. Can we get a lady? Hands up.
I can say that.
Yes.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm Christine. I can say that change is inevitable. So we have to embrace change.
Yes.
And with the changing economy, there is no way we can avoid the global changes that are happening.
Thank you so much. Because you are actually saying change is inevitable. We are also global is a village. Whatever happens in the global, we are also affected. Thank you so much. I think you have summarized the change. Quality management. Here is we are finding institutions in terms of performance undertaking. There is processes that are actually being undertaken. We are having methods, ways of doing things, principles that are there to best practices in a particular institution, with even a framework on how that institution undertakes its performance with a view of achieving excellence. That is why an institution talks of a center of excellence. What happens? There is a continuous improvement. Functions and processes are geared towards satisfying the customers. That is key. And therefore, characteristics very fast of quality management system. If you have in an institution, quality management, total quality management, and I refer to even quality management system, the focus is the customer, the client, the learner. The focus is the learner. Top management in the institution is committed. Quality is a strategy. Quality is of essence. Problem solving is the way to go. Consistency in terms of quality production by the employee is key. Continual improvement is focused. Processes are centered. Whatever we are doing must be in a process. Units, subject panels, they are all cooperating. They are interdependent. They are depending on each other. Decision making are based on facts. Communication is effective. I don't want to repeat even that communication. It was elaborated by Madam Eunice. So these are some of the things. Once you are putting in place, then you are going to ISO. You have heard of ISO. ISO is International Standard Organization. You know, a certificate you can get when you have put those things in order, where you have proved that you are experiencing continuous improvement, that you are put in a process. Whatever you do are created guidelines, you have procedures, you have systems. There is a way in which you are providing quality service, which we call quality service delivery. So when people come, they know I'm beginning from now, step 1, step 2, step 3 to get this. Step 1, step 2, step 4 to get this. And ISO will define elements that will require effective quality management system. So you will find any institution, even primary schools, I'm looking forward that they can also be ISO certified. Think about it. When you are looking at ISO and quality management system, it is doable. The focus is the customer, the learner, the leaders. I'm repeating the same things, but in a more clear way. In ISO, you are focusing on the customer, the client, the learner, the leadership, top management, a teacher, and the post of management are committed. Stakeholders are involved, public participation. Processes are approach is what the way to go. Systems are also systems and processes are almost the same. Continuous improvement is the focus. And finally, decision making is based on facts, empirical data. Lastly, service data. I know some of you, particularly the teachers who have gone to conferences, they buy service data. Some of them, they are buying because the TSC are asked that it is a requirement. It is very important. You can even prepare one without buying. What does it have? It briefly describes the services that we are offering our clients. And who are our clients? The learners, the parents, and other clients. So here you are stating what you are promising to provide. And you are indicating the services, the cost, and even obligations of the learners or the customers. So even you are saying you need to write somewhere outside your office, the teachers or administrative block, that you list down the services that they are obtained from the school. One is admission. You can say admission is free. Then fees, it is payable this much. Built-in fund, this much. Those are the services. Yes. Then what are the importance of this customer service? It actually leads to value for money. It leads to quality services that are going to be realized. It also recognizes the right for expression by the customer. And that is why we always say a customer is always right. A customer is always right. It also leads to accountability. We are supposed to be accountable to those people we are serving. It alleviates ambiguity in processes so that you don't say, who was supposed to do? I don't know. When you go to this other person, you go to the other office, until it's like the entire institution is confused. So whatever services provided in that institution, be stated and listed down. Commitments to the clients is also vital. All right, I've come to the end of my presentation. And possibly again, my practice, because I've not engaged you far, if there's somebody who can make a comment, because I've talked to the performance. I've also talked to quality management system, and then customer care. Can I get somebody again? Elvis, if I can get again a lady and a gentleman. I know it is not so much, just less than a minute each.
Go on. Vivo V2120.
And next time you name yourself. There's a provision that you can put your name. Don't name numbers. We are dealing with people.
Peter Karuri.
These people have left us.
Peter.
Anybody? Yeah, I'm sure I'm not with these people. Yes. Who is talking? No, you have a challenge of your network.
Jane Marty. Jane
Yes.
Marty, please unmute yourself.
Good evening.
Good evening, Marty.
Yeah, I wanted to comment about the service charter.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, we are
Yes,
getting you.
yeah, and I now understand why there is a service charter in my school, and
Thank you.
that it gives value for money and to satisfy the customer, because the customer is always right.
Yeah. Thank you. Karuri. Can you try Karuri? Try Karuri. Now, any other person, last person, and then we come to the conclusion. Musi.
Thank you so much. Sorry for the lesson. It has been a good one and I've enjoyed, I've learned a lot. I just wanted to confirm, how are we getting the notes so that we follow up? You know, some learners are, we catch up with the, following up with the notes so that we get it clear. Because here it is so fast within the time that the time limits that we have, and also we have other activities to engage in.
Thank you. We shall respond to that. I'm having two officers who are here. Madam Nicole, I will welcome her to greet you. Then there is Aquila, who is going to give you some work. I will also share my desk to say something here. And then that will be responded by my brother Elvis. So that one, it will be answered. I think that is what. So I think that was only compliment as well as asking how you will be guided. Otherwise, for us, we really enjoyed your presentation and how we have also met this. And I want possibly to give Nicole to one of our admin also. We have been having a team. That's just like a studio. So no, I don't know now. My co-presenter is asking me, there are so many answers. So I don't know which is working, because most of the answers are not are a continuous up. Can you try one? Can you try one? To confirm, Elvis, to confirm, try one. Try one. Try one to confirm if they are functional. Let me also pull down my share.
Francis, do you have a question or a comment?
Yes. Let's find out.
Francis Mwandoe Mzungu.
Unmute.
Just unmute.
I try a lady. If the hand is up, Naum. No, now.
Florence, you have a question or a comment?
No problem. These people have been trying to.
Hello.
Yes, Florence.
Yes, my name is Florence. I wanted to ask about action research, which we were told it will be discussed today, and it hasn't. It has not been discussed. And then maybe to comment on the lesson of the day. It's been good. We really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, about the action research, you've been taken through, or you have not?
No, we were told we will be taken through today because we were told
Yes.
that it is a very important part, which we should even start right away, as much as it is module 9.
No, don't worry. No worry. We shall be able to update you because that is something which we cannot rush. It is a session by itself. So we can be able to take you through at a particular time. So thank you for that concern, and we shall get into that. So I believe we have taken your response. There are so many, but now the best was to put in the chat. I think the best thing, all the answers which are up, put your concern in the chat. We are going to respond. We are not going to close, but we can respond through the chat. I think that is in order. So, Nicole, can you, Madam, you having something? My colleague Eunice.
Oh yes, thank you, Ngetich. So far, so good. I want to concur with you. We have so many participants raising up their hands. Remember, we said in the beginning that whatever we are presenting, it's just brief presentations. And we have our learning management systems where we usually upload all our presentation. The login credentials were given, and I will be expecting our ICT personnel to be able to share their mobile numbers so that if you are unable now to log in to the system, you can reach them. Remember again, all of us, we are in our WhatsApp groups where you can be able to air your queries freely. But for the time being, kindly, because it's getting late, many of you have been given permission so that you can unmute yourself and yet you are not speaking. And that's why we are saying, just use the chat box because we are all available for you so that we can be able to respond to you. Otherwise, I have heard of a number of you are given permission to speak and you are not even speaking. Florence, what do you want to say? Kindly unmute yourself and speak.
Florence have spoken, Madam.
My number, those who are looking for my number, our numbers are national, they are public. My number is 0722 826680. I'll also put it in the chat box. If you are from Central Region, I'm your coordinator. Ensure that we communicate via chat box. Not chat box, sorry, via our forum.
Thank you, Madam Eunice. Now I want to ask Madam Nicole to greet you. She was also behind the background assisting us. We are not hearing you well. Possibly you can add your voice, increase your voice. Let's allow her. Yes, she's coming back.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole Mwende. I'm from the ICT department in Kemi. Thank you for joining us this evening. We've had a wonderful session together with you guys. So we've posted the links to these chats from the Zoom chats for the registration, for the attendance. And for those who have technical issues can reach us. We've posted our WhatsApp numbers on the chat too. So if you're faced with any technical issue, may it be logging in, accessing notes, accessing the LMS, we've posted our WhatsApp numbers on the chat so you can reach us and we'll be able to help you. We won't be able to sort out all the technical issues right now because we're still on this session. So after the session ends, I will kindly ask you all to send us the WhatsApp messages to our numbers so that we can be able to help you individually. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you, Madam Nicole, and your technical work. Thank you so much. Now let me welcome Aquila. And then after that, I'll keep to Elvis to respond. Aquila, come this way. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aquila, MEICT. Okay, I wanted to say I've seen your. So can everyone hear me? So my name is Aquila from Kemi, MEICT. So I saw your issues on the group about the assignment. They have already been opened. Module 2. So today I've been taught module 2. They have been opened. Those who have challenges, please text us. The numbers have been shared on the chat forum. Thank you. Also, the login credentials, your admission number. The admission number that you are given the direction. For example, the DLM stroke 2025 stroke county 22 stroke your TSC number or ID number, the one that you registered with, or PS number. Those are your credentials to the LMS for the new participants.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes, Mr. Nehemiah.
I was asking for us the cohort 12, the 12.
Yes.
Can we also attend tomorrow's session for D11? Because personally, I'm almost done with the assignment for that is the D12, and I think maybe
you're not done for module 2.
But
module
yeah, module 2 now I'm not done with it. Now I was asking whether I can attend tomorrow's session for D11 or it is not necessary.
It's not necessary. Your time will come.
Okay, thank you.
And also, yeah. Any other question?
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Please, when registering, use your Google account. That link for the attendance. Use your Gmail and copy the link to your Chrome browser, paste it there, and use your Gmail account. Your Gmail account. You want to register to attend for the attendance.
Remember again, as I noted down in the chat box, if you haven't registered for the last 2 days, don't worry. Our program is very flexible. What is more important is you attending our sessions. And remember, we still come back to the field, that it's face-to-face sessions, and we still revisit what we are doing online. And good evening.
I was talking and nobody was hearing me. I'm saying those was part of the announcement, and we have also introduced you to our technical team. So we are happy to serve you, and we are going to assure you that you will earn well with this program, and you are having able facilitators as well as the technical team, just feel free. And the goodness is that you have already gotten their contacts. So don't worry about the presentation. You will get through the LMS. Just feel free and you will get that information any other given time. So I want to conclude by requesting one person to pray. Somebody to pray. Can we have a volunteer to pray? You know, the problem now, there are so many hands are up.
Pamela.
We are praying.
Okay, thank you.
We are praying. Father, in the name of Jesus, we want to thank you this evening for your goodness and your faithfulness. We thank you for having taken us through these sessions, oh God. We thank you for our facilitators that you have given us, O King of all glory. We thank you for all teachers who have been attending these sessions, O Jehovah. How we pray in the name of Jesus that in everything that we've learned, may we put it into practice. I pray for every teacher, my Father, in this forum, that in our profession, my Father, everything that we learn in this session shall help us, my Father, and especially when we are managing our schools. Receive every glory and honor, even as we trust you for the next session. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pamela. Be blessed.
Thank you too.